I'm not gonna lie, if I was in Deku's shoes, I'd be shitting myself. I'd be like, oh, what am I gonna do right now? So this episode of My Hero Academia, first half of the episode, definitely a lot of setup, putting together the team, kind of figuring things out and looking at what everybody is thinking regarding, like, yeah, Deku's kind of fucked, and I would be shitting myself to come into the situation. It's like, yo, I just had an incredible achievement. I just bodied the competition in round 1 of this contest, and then round 2 is like, really? So round 1 almost felt as though it was a pointless situation in a way, because all you had to do was come in second and third place and you would have been fine just to get, you know, a decent amount of points to come into round 2. So it's kind of like, it was a great and epic way for Deku to make his entrance and do what All Might told him, and that's to say, I'm here. But at the same time, it's kind of like, ooh, terrible situation to come into, because, I mean, you're looking at the episode, again, the first half was mainly all set up to build up the team and get ready for the second round of this contest, and nobody want to fuck with Deku. He's looking around, everybody's like, oh yeah, no, I'm busy right now, bro, not you, except, of course, Uraraka, which I think there was little hints and inklings in there of potentially some shipping. When she was getting jealous of the tech chick, she was kind of like, yeah, it's only moving as good because I'm making it light. I was like, alright, Uraraka, I see maybe there's a little bit of butterflies floating in your belly whenever you look at the old Deku. You're like, ooh, I want him to Detroit smash my ass. One of the pivotal parts of the episode, or the first half at the very least of the episode, was Ida. When Deku approached Ida and he's like, yo, this is my friend, like, Uraraka's joining, awesome, so we got 2 people, let's get Ida involved. And Ida's like, nah. I'm looking at that because, you know, I've read this obviously in the manga, but it's been so long that I kind of forget a lot of these pieces, to be honest with you. So I'm looking at him like, what do you mean, nah? Who the fuck you think you are? Like, I honestly forgot who exactly was involved in Deku's team. So as soon as he approached Ida, I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be Ida, obviously. And then Ida says, I look at you as a rival. It gives some defining characterization to Ida, that there's more to him than meets the eye. He's not just, I'm the class rep, I'm blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, okay, there's a little bit more to his personality. He actually cares about certain things, and it makes you question, like, okay, what led him to this point to kind of want to look at Deku as a rival? And then he obviously explains, like, hey, you know, I've been losing to you this entire time. Todoroki and Bakugo aren't the only ones that look at you as a rival. I'm looking at you like one too. And I'm like, damn. So it gives good characterization to, you know, Ida, but it also showcases that Deku's kind of fucked there. And I'm like, yo, who's gonna be part of the team? Obviously, Uraraka and him, good pair right there. Tech girl is like, yo, you got some cool tech, but you could totally, I mean, she's blatantly obvious. She says, hey, I just want to be in the spotlight, so give me a shot. I was like, tech is cool, but like, is that really something that you want on the team? But then the last pick, and I was like, this is good, because we need other characters to get spotlight. Like you're seeing in the other teams, you got like some standout characters like Bakugo with some not so known characters. So it's like Tokoyami. Great pick. And I mean, seeing his quirk in this one, which he could kind of like talk to it and shit like that, a little bit weird, but seeing Tokoyami in this episode, I was like, we need characters like this to be paired up with the bigger characters so they could get some spotlight, some screen time, and we could get a little bit more insight into them. And I mean, throughout the episode, when they're running around and Tokoyami's using his quirk, I'm like, this is what the fuck we needed to see regarding other characters, because if we're gonna, you know, really have this entire classroom of characters and really get their spotlight and, you know, really care about them, not just have like, you know, the main 3 or 4 that we care about and the rest of them fuck off. We need stuff like this. So it was good the way everything worked out, in a sense, with having Tokoyami there. And I was like, I fucks with it. We got Deku there, Uraraka, Tokoyami, and then Tech Girl. I can't remember her name. Is it Natsume? I don't know, but we're gonna keep calling her Tech Girl. I was like, good shit there. And once again, this episode showing a big thing about Deku. He's a strategist, and this is something that has helped him time and time again, from the time he rescued Bakugo, from the time he fucking talked All Might into basically becoming his master and him being his student. He's always had strategy, and nevertheless, yet again, he pinpointed things, and that's why I think Deku is a little bit above most shonen main characters, especially early on, because he doesn't really rely on his quirk. If you think about it, he hasn't even used his quirk yet. While Bakugo's blasting away and Todoroki's using his ice and shit like that, Deku hasn't used shit yet. And he, at one punch, he could kill pretty much anybody probably there if he went full speed or whatever. He hasn't even used his quirk yet. And using strategy is something that's great. Like, you compare him to other shonen main characters like Tsunayoshi Sawada from Hitman Reborn or something like that. It's like, he was, you know, similar in the beginning of the series where they were both cowards or whatever. Difference is, Deku maintains what he obtained, and there was a different circumstance with Suna. And I hate to kind of bring this character like, hey, I'm just bashing Suna, but I'm just trying to drive home the point that Deku stands a bit above a lot of other shonen main characters, especially this early on. What is this, episode 16, 17 of My Hero Academia, and he's already displaying this amount of strategy, this incredible development. Like in episode 1 or season 1 for that matter, Deku would not be doing these things. Deku would not be this brave to even approach people like, hey, be a part of my team. So it shows the development, which is great. You want a character to be a bit better than he was, especially from season to season. You want to see growth, and we've seen just that with this episode with Deku. But also throughout the episode, which again, I feel as though the first half, it was a lot weaker than the second half because it was just a build-up. It was good on the development side, but as far as moving the plot along and as far as, like, you know, going forth with this tournament, it was a little bit slow compared to the second half. But you see that because of the reputation, and I think it's been par for the course for a lot of things, is like the more spotlight you get, the more you're going to be a target. Like, you know, when Bakugo was talking shit and the spotlight that Class 1A had in season 1, you know, when they had to fight the villain and shit like that, they were already a target. Then you got Deku with the points, you know, he became a target as well. So it showcases that the more spotlight you get, the more people are going to want to come after you, and that's just the way of the world, right? Celebrities, anybody that's popular, people attack them for no reason just because they're popular and they're celebrities and shit like that. So when you see Class, I think it was 1B or 2B or whatever the heck they were, when they were like, we're going to play it smart. We're going to rob everyone's shit. We're not going to worry about that. You know, at the end of the day, everybody's coming after Deku, but we're going to be a little bit strategic and we're going to make sure we make it to the finals. And I was like, okay, I see you, because everybody else is focusing on 1A. The other people have a chance to move in the shadows and do fucked up things. Well, not fucked up things, but essentially, you know, make their way through and get the spotlight themselves. So that was a kind of good thing. I mean, the episode as a whole, it was a good episode. I'd argue it was way not as good as last week's episode, but it was still pretty damn good. I think the fact that Deku has no other option but to run is something that makes it different from last week, where it was like he has to strive to outdo his opponents. This one, he just got to run the fuck away. It's like a like a capture the flag type of deal. So I'd argue that it was a good episode still. I want to say 7.5 out of 10 I'd give this episode, because it was like, did some good things, but ultimately is like, yeah, it's basically capture the flag. So it's like, oh, we'll see where it goes. But again, good development on Deku's side, interesting plot development. Weak first half in comparison to the second half, you know, and it also showcased that Ida also looks at Deku as a rival. The more Deku goes up, the more he's going to have competition and people coming for that neck. Which kind of makes me wonder, did All Might have to go through the same thing? Like when All Might, you know, came on the scene and was slowly building his name up, did people want, well, yeah, I guess look at it. Now that I think about it, Endeavor till this day still has a gripe with him. So yeah, I guess even All Might had to go through it. But I'm curious what you guys thought about this week's episode of My Hero Academia. First of all, what did you think about Ida turning him down? Did you feel as though that was just Ida being a dick and being salty? Do you feel as though it kind of characterized Ida more? Because again, Ida has just been a very simple and bland character. Like up until this point, you would argue, who gives a fuck about Ida? It's Ida, right? Like he's just, I'm class rep. We gotta do things the right way. Don't be bad, man. Now we're getting a little bit more like, okay, he's getting serious. So what do you think about Ida's character in this episode? Also, what do you think about Deku's strategy? Do you feel as though, again, episodes like this where you get to see him use his mind to overcome the odds is a great way of displaying his growth? Also, oh god, I didn't even mention this. I gotta talk about this real quick before we get on to any more questions. Mineta. That shit was hilarious. You got Mineta and Suyu, or Sue, you know, Frog Girl. Like, that was priceless. Probably the funniest part of the episode where he's just hiding there. I was like, yeah, that's totally what trolls online do. They hide behind the little thing and they're like, I'm gonna throw shit. Like, Mineta is probably, if not the funniest, then one of the most funniest characters in this entire series, because he's a pervert. He fucking just does little sly shit. And even when he was trying to get a team member or whatever, I'm like, yo, Mineta, you're a funny dude. So just quickly want to throw in there, Mineta moment was probably one of my favorite moments of the episode, amongst other things. And your overall thoughts of the episode. Did you feel as though it rivaled last week's? Personally, I felt as though last week's was like a 9. This one I give like the 7.5. It had a weak start, mainly building things up. Second half was when shit kicked into high gear. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this all wraps up and who wins this round in the preliminaries. Because again, I don't really remember much of this stuff. So I'm just like you anime only viewers right now. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.